Hi, my name is Adam Whitmer. I'm the founder and host here at ComplianceCohort.com. This compliance clip is going to talk about flood zones discrepancies with appraisals and flood determination forms. So the question we have here is this. The question is, we have a loan for a commercial apartment complex that has multiple buildings, and our flood determination says that the structures are not in a high-risk flood zone. However, we just received our appraisal back and it says that one of the structures is in a high risk flood zone. Do we need flood insurance based on the appraisal flood zone designation? So basically what's happened is you've got a commercial building and multiple structures, and your flood zone said it's not in a high risk zone, but your appraisal is saying that one of the structures is in a high risk flood zone. Now, just to be clear, let's just assume you cannot use the detached structure exemption because that is only good for residential structures when there is a residence on the property, but this is a commercial question. So we're going to assume that you would potentially need flood insurance for any structures that are in a high risk flood zone. Now, to answer this question, there's a number of considerations we can think about. First and foremost, what I want to say is this: you should never base your flood requirements solely upon the flood designation in the appraisal report. You, as a financial institution, need to make a flood determination, and your determination is what should drive whether or not you have flood insurance. You're not going to rely on what the appraisal has, but you need to have your own flood determination, and that is what you should count on when determining whether or not you require flood insurance on a particular loan. Now, that said, somebody is wrong. There's an issue. It's either your company, which it happens, or the appraiser, because the appraisers oftentimes have their own company they're getting the flood determinations from. So somewhere along the line, there is a discrepancy. And this is a result of how the flood determination companies do their job. Some of them actually look at maps. Some of them just use a general address. And they're not always specific and they're not always right, unfortunately. So the way I would view this is that if my appraisal says that one of the structures is in a high risk flood zone, what I would do is dig into this. I would go back to my flood determination company and ask them to do a review, ask them to settle this once and for all. And if they're not able to do that, whether you escalate it up to somebody who can help you or not, I may even consider going into FEMA's maps and looking myself. And I've done this before where I go into Google Maps, find the address, find the structure, go into FEMA's maps, figure out where the flood zones are, and try to figure it out on my own, which you possibly could do if you spend enough time doing that. But at the end of the day, when you have a discrepancy, somebody's right and somebody's wrong. And as a financial institution, it's in your best interest to make sure you are finding the correct answer so that you have the correct flood determination designation and require insurance if it is in fact needed. So that is what I would do. Now, another consideration while you're doing this, I would ask your flood vendor this. I would ask them how you should be entering addresses into the flood determination system to pull the determination if there are multiple structures. And the reason I bring this up is that some vendors have different requirements. Some just want you to list the address and that's all you need to do, but others actually say that you need to provide a legal description if in fact you have multiple structures. So it's important to understand from your flood vendor what they expect you to do as far as entering that address or that legal description or the lot number, the tax ID, whatever the case is. You need to understand what their expectation is so their system reviews your property properly. That's kind of a mouthful right there in and of itself. It needed to review your property properly. So also, I did want to say that if you do have a discrepancy with your appraisal and your flood determination, you may have a problem selling this on the secondary market. So make sure that those are aligned. And if your flood determination is correct and you dig into that, contact your appraiser, see if they will dig on their side. Because again, somebody's right. There's never a true discrepancy. Somebody's got to be right. Somebody's got to be wrong. And if you can iron that out, that's going to go a long way for compliance requirements. Now, I just wanted to note that you can, of course, require flood insurance as a matter of safety and soundness. So if your appraiser says it comes right up to the line and you're concerned about your collateral, you, as a matter of safety and soundness, can require flood insurance. Now, whether or not the insurance company will insure this as a high-risk policy or not, it's based on the flood insurance company, but you can require flood insurance, and that is something you can do as a matter of safety and soundness. So that's it for this compliance clip. If you have any questions at all, well, pay attention to some of our other compliance clips, because we do have a bunch of free training videos just like this, where we have a instructor, myself, in front of a slide presentation, and they're absolutely free training videos in our compliance clips that are 3 to 5 minute training videos. They're available on our site through our basic membership. So check out compliancecohort.com, sign up for our basic membership where you get free training videos just like this, free articles, resources. We have giveaways, do other news alerts, do a weekly newsletter, a lot of things like that. So check it out at compliancecohort.com if you're new. If you're an existing member, you know we have premium training programs for purchase available in our store at compliancecohort.com/store. Thanks so much for watching this compliance clip, and I hope you have a compliance-filled day. Thanks so much.